Alrighty, episode 92 of the Paws Up podcast. We're back. Another episode closer to 100, I would say, Jake. Getting there. But as always, here with Jake Gibson, my friend and co-host, and we have a very special guest from FIU Creative. We have Edward Noboa. Edward, what's up, man? We're knocking down another creative member here. We had Hunter, Christian, and now we've got you on. Oh, we had Twan before that. Now we have you.
Twan, yes, sir.
Super happy to be here, man. That intro is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
How many of those are yours?
Keep updating it. Yep.
Are any of those clips yours, or no?
Not that I don't know. I was just kind of taking the intro, and this is like very
just basking in it.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start with just when you got your love for photography, when you really wanted to pursue it, and eventually, I mean, you began doing video. So when did you get into that as well?
So basically my story is it's similar to a few other people that I've heard, but like me originally, I never really got into the photo stuff or video stuff till like about 1.5 years ago, around like the first Vice game with the black jerseys. So before that, I was just coming to FIU as a student, just studying sport management, just wanted to be an agent eventually, or just work in sports in general. But around my sophomore year, so 2023, I was looking for a social media job in athletics. And at first I stumbled upon like a video coordinator intern, like with the football team. And that just wasn't really my thing. That's not what I was looking for. And then I got sent an email to go message somebody else, which was Hunter. And I emailed him. I was like, yo, just looking for an opportunity. Don't have much experience, but, just looking to do something. And then we met up in the office, and he was like, look, this is what it is. We do photo, video for all the teams here. And, I was like, look, the most experience I have is shooting some photos for my yearbook in high school, and that's about it. But as soon as I started, I'll say, yeah, that was the first game I worked. Actually, the first game I worked was a soccer game where I was just doing iPhone videos. I was working with Christian. Christian didn't know who I was. He was just like, oh, okay, I heard you were coming. But just stay in the goal and shoot some videos on your iPhone. And yeah, and then after that, I did some photos for the Vice game. And then from there, it was just sticking to it, going into the office every day, working hard and just learning the craft, and then slowly just developed the love for it. And then started doing video around baseball season.
Gotcha. So you're originally from Tampa, made your way down to Miami. Why Miami? Why'd you decide to come down here? How much of it was, because of FIU?
Honestly, this was the only school I applied to. Like, this was coming out of high school. This was the only school I applied to. I was going to apply for USF because like my mom wanted me to, but just wasn't for me. And I had a cousin who came down here, and I came to visit the school, and I loved the environment. I just love the fact that like all the teams around here, I would say, are pretty close together compared to how it is in Tampa. like for the Rays, it's like an hour out from where I'm from. It's not even really in Tampa. The Lightning, I'm not really a big hockey guy. And then the Bucks too, but we didn't have an NBA team, and I always kind of wanted to work for an NBA team. But yeah, so that's really why I came down here.
So talk about some of your first interviews and meeting with the creative team. I think you already mentioned your conversations with Hunter, but who were some of the first people you met? And when you finally got down here, what were your initial reactions to just FIU in general, man?
The first few people I met, like within the creative team.
Yeah.
Hunter, Christian, I had met Raina and Amber too, but like I was really just communicating with Hunter. But that's because I'm really this type of, like, me being on a podcast is not something that would normally happen. I'm doing this because it's y'all, but like I'm more of a to myself type of person, and like
right.
I don't really talk to that many people. So when I got here, when I originally came to FIU, I already came with like my best friends from when I was in middle school. So I wasn't out here really meeting that many new people, but once I got down here, started opening up a little bit and doing that type of thing. But my reaction to FIU, I loved it since I got here, man. Just having that school spirit. I never really was like that, but when I got here, it's just I feel like this place has opened so many doors for me, and
Yeah.
the love I have for it is pretty big, and being able to represent it and be able to showcase a lot of what the university is something I'm really proud of and pretty big for me.
So you currently make FIU content for football, basketball, and baseball, a jack of all trades, I'd say. But when you were starting to get into the business, into the world of sports photography, which sport did you want to initially pursue as maybe your primary sport and just wanted to be a part of?
Initially was just basketball. I came up growing up during a time when like all those like Ball is Life mixtapes were big and like
Yeah.
things like that. So that was always my main sport that I wanted to shoot. But from when I started doing video and then my first spring football, it was kind of like I fell in love with just shooting football in general. So that was football is probably my main thing that I have the most fun with. But basketball, I love the basketball. I love Coach Ballard and the staff over there, and baseball too. All the guys over there are pretty cool. So it's always a great time with them.
Yeah, getting to work with Johnny over at baseball. But so along the way, you've had some internships with both the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Heat. Talk about what you were able to do with those teams and some of the differences you noticed when working with those professional sports teams compared to a university like FIU.
Well, first, so the Dolphins thing, it was events and entertainment staff. So when I first got here, that first summer I was here, summer 2022, I just wanted to hit the ground running and start, building up my resume. So
Yeah.
I saw they had a job opening for events and entertainment. So that was mainly like just setting up activations and stuff pregame and like stuff like that, like interacting with the fans before the game and just stuff like that, which really wasn't my thing. Wasn't that fun. But the next one, definitely after my first semester with FIU Creative, getting that Heat job was kind of like big for me because it was like a confirmation of like the work that I'm putting in is becoming worth it. Like people outside of the group I'm in are seeing the stuff I'm doing and can say that like, okay, this guy's good enough to, join the squad. But I feel like with the event and entertainment staff with the Dolphins, I didn't really get to see what it was like working for a pro team because it was just kind of like I wasn't really. It was like a part-time job, and you don't really get to see the day-to-day. You kind of just go on
Okay.
games and things like that. But working with the Heat content team, it was a really great experience. It's very different. Working in professional sports is, I would say, more strict than college. More like you got to meet stricter deadlines, or it feels more of like a real corporate job versus college doesn't really feel like that. College kind of like I have more fun with it, and it doesn't feel like I have to come in, do the same thing every day, and it's the same routine. But the Heat gave me lots of big opportunities. I got to be one of the shooters for the Dwayne Wade statue unveiling. So when the statue was unveiled, I was like right there. I got to go with Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison on one of the cruises to recreate something that they did when they first hired him. And yeah, like it's different, but definitely got to learn a lot of stuff that I didn't get from FIU, like just professionalism and just how things can be done to be efficient and different ways.
What are your thoughts on that statue?
Man, it was kind of rough to see. Yeah, it's definitely a little rough, but when I'm there firsthand, listening to Dwayne Wade say that he was there building the statue, like not building the statue, but he was there throughout the whole process. He would go to Chicago all the time to go look at it, and like it's kind of like I can't even be mad because if you saw it and you're not mad, like what am I gonna hate for? Like you said you like it, and your family's here, you're crying with your family, like who am I to hate?
Exactly. I was like, if you like it, bro, like, sure.
Facts.
It was a little rough though, but
Head
yeah.
looks a little big and stuff, but
Yeah.
nah, it's pretty cool though. They even got a detail of him like chewing gum in the thing in the statue, so it's pretty cool.
Hey man, then he needed a statue, so he finally
Yeah.
got it. So you kind of alluded to this a while back, but just what were your first assignments, at Creative, just knowing what you do, just what were those first assignments, and knowing what you know now, how do you think you've improved, or how much do you think you've learned from that point?
Definitely it's been an exponential growth experience. Like when I first got there, I was doing mainly photos, so you just get what we need to get for the team. Honestly, it probably wasn't even that good to be honest, just getting the normal stuff and you know, but since then it's been steady growth every day. You just learn more and more when you do something every day too. It's just kind of like you get better and better at it. And I feel like I said, like just each time, I put something out there and either you get a good response or you just feel more proud of it than you did the last thing. It just feels good and it just brings you up when you feel like, dang, like is this the right thing for me to do? Is this even for me in the first place? But yeah, just steady growth and definitely gotten better at video stuff. Because it's been my main focus. I've been able to do more, do bigger projects, and help other people out with their stuff too.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about those projects in a bit, but just I guess as simple as it gets, what advice would you give to those trying to get into this business, trying to do what you're doing right now, working, with a Division I football team is what you do a lot, and honestly, a Division I program in general.
Yeah, I would say first just find the people who run the stuff, and then from there, just surround yourself around those people because at the end of the day, I came in not knowing anything, and like 6 months after that, I knew a lot more than I did when I first got there. So
Yeah.
to me, it's much easier to learn something when you're around people who know way more than you versus like just trying to get it done on your own. And definitely when you do get in the door, you got to work very hard. At the end of the day, people like this is a real job for people. So like someone having to wait on you or someone having to keep on, reaching out to you for you to try to like be there for them, like it's just not going to work, especially if you're not actually working there. Like if you're just an intern or if you're a volunteer, like you got to be the one knocking down the doors. You can't be expecting people to carry you along with them because at the end of the day, like I said, like people got to get stuff done. This is a real job. This isn't just like a media credential.
That hits hard. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Edward, let's go over some of the equipment you've used over the years. We asked this to Hunter when he was on, and his answers blew us away. Talk about the equipment you've used, you've burned through, and what you're looking like right now for like an average game coverage. What do you have to use?
So for me, if it's okay, I'll start from the beginning of the football season. So at the beginning of the
Okay.
football season, I was using my first camera that I bought. It's pretty new still, so the camera was about $2,000.
Mm.
Then the lens I got on sale was like 500. The mic was like $200.
Okay.
And then a few other attachments on it were like a cage and like a handle. I'll say like 120 put together. If we had my MacBook too, like another 1,800. But yeah, that's not, yeah. For my first game, I didn't really have too much stuff
Okay.
for this season. But like now, with the camera that my boy Santi X Shots is letting me borrow, we kind of
Okay.
he kind of took my camera and he lets me borrow one of his cameras. And that camera's around $3,600. And then a battery for $250. little screen that I have that's from the school. I'm not really going to count that, but it's pretty much everything else except for the more expensive camera, the battery. I probably my camera case. I'm trying to think. I really don't have that much stuff right now. Oh, a drone. I have a drone as well.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't have too much stuff. Not as much like.
No, go ahead, Edward.
I said not as much as I would like. Oh, is it lagging?
Okay.
No, you're good.
Hunter, like I said, he blew us away. I mean, he had that camera that tracked his face when he was talking. He was moving around, and it was following him. That's still mind blowing. All these.
Yeah, I'm on the MacBook cam right now. I don't have a cool setup yet. But.
All right, so talk about some of your specific responsibilities between each sport here at FIU that you cover: football, basketball, and baseball. And which one would you say is the easiest and the hardest when it comes to making content?
So for football, I'm kind of like a second. I'm like the assistant shooter, I would say. Assistant. So first, I would say Hunter's first, and then whatever Hunter needs secondary done is what I'll get done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for basketball, I would say I'm one of the lead, like one of the main people who are shooting the games and stuff. Obviously this first year I haven't really been able to take that big of a step because I wasn't around that much for basketball season. But for baseball season, I would definitely say I've been, other than the intro video, I've been kind of with John Mayer leading the show.
Cool.
What does your game day look like for football?
So for football, we'll get there probably around 3 to 4 hours before the game. We got to get shots of the stadium because obviously we do different stadium reveals in the week. So either if we're doing a cool one, we'll do it before, like a day before or something. Or if it's like I don't know, one of the normal ones, we'll probably do it the same day. But we'll get those shots before the game. Then after we get the stadium, we'll probably go to the locker room and get some photos of the jerseys being hung up in the locker room and stuff.
Yeah.
And then from there, we send out the team to go get some pregame stuff for during the tailgates. And then during that time, either I'll go out there or we'll still be just working on what we're going to have the setup for on the field. Just writing on the board and stuff. And then once that happens, and then I'm going to say when the game clock just starts ticking, like at the 90 minutes, probably I'll be down in the locker room waiting for coach to give a speech. And then we'll go out for warm-ups, then go back in, and then go out one last time before the game starts. And then most times Hunter will be getting the coin toss and he'll be in the middle of the field. And then I'll be setting up in one of the end zones because that's where I primarily shoot from during a football game. And then the game starts, and then it's this goes from there.
It's go time from there, definitely. So you've been part of a lot of projects. You've helped Hunter with a lot of the cinematics for football, but you did the cinematic for the IU Indy game. Talk about that. When did Hunter present that to you? And what was it like, doing that full cinematic and just seeing your work out there, on one of these your fully edited work on the basketball page?
Yeah, no, it was definitely great. I presented that. Well, we kind of came up with it together, but to me, we never really had done like a wide version of like the same thing we do for football. We never really did it for basketball. We kind of just did a reel that we would recap it. That's how we were doing it all last year. But yeah, we had never done that. So I was kind of like, you know what? Like, this is my chance. It's not football. Like, I'm probably able to take this and like make it my own. And yeah, I was super proud of it. Definitely not as good as probably what I could make now, because that was a few months ago, but No, it was definitely a great opportunity to, finally feel like I'm coming into my own and, being able to step up and take that role. Like that's something that takes hours and, lots of time and patience. So being able to tell the story of that game, it was a pretty good game too.
Yeah.
Um, it was really something that I appreciated.
Something else you guys were working on is Uncaged. Talk about that. I know you guys are 2 episodes in. It's kind of just similar to a Hard Knock style type thing, a little more cinematic style, but it's really cool, and it's something we hadn't seen, at least from the collegiate level, in a while. So just when did the idea come out to be, and how do you guys think that's coming along, and can we expect another one, episode 3?
I mean, the idea came about, I would say, right before Coach Willie got hired. We were just like, this is a very big turning point in FIU football, and like we should do something to be able to, you know, help the fans get more in tune. Like I feel like no one ever really got to see that inside scoop of FIU football before, and it's something that I feel like we need to like, let the fans in on a little bit more about what the team's about, especially with stuff like Cold Tub Chronicles. Like that was, I feel like that's a small piece that can, help the people get to know the team and, let our guys show their personalities. So we wanted to do Uncaged as something more sentimental and like, more serious versus like a funny comedic type of thing. And yeah, we thought it was a great opportunity with Coach Simmons coming along, and so we got it started. It's something that's very hard to do with a very small team, and you're being spread kind of thin. So being able to pull it off is something very hard. We got to put in a lot of hours and so we could do it. But no, I think it's really great, being able to see everything. And like that first episode, I thought was very good, and it's only going to get better from there. Episode 3, though, we got to see. There's no concrete date on that.
What do you think episode 3 would be about at this point chronologically?
Shoot. I don't know. I feel like we got to see a lot of spring ball, and we got to see a lot of the coaches. We got to get to know a lot of the players and stuff. So I feel like maybe a little bit more detail about that, but I'm trying to think of anything that happened.
No, spring game.
Spring game.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We will be staying tuned. We absolutely will. Those things are awesome to watch, and it is really good insight. We love them. So finally, let's go over something that's going to put a big smile on Jonathan Mayer's face: the Vice uniform reveal for FIU baseball. Now, whenever a team here at FIU does a Vice reveal, it takes off online. This was no exception for the baseball team. What were the original storyboards for that trailer, and ultimately, how do you think it turned out?
I honestly think it turned out wonderful. The storyboards for it, I would say that was always kind of like the idea that we wanted to go with, just like just kind of a storyline of like, okay, everybody has these jerseys. Baseball is one of the only teams that needs it still, and so we wanted to go with something like that, and it was something we pulled off pretty quick. So it was very on the spot, and thanks to Christian and thanks to Hunter, we were able to come up with the shots and the how we wanted it to go. The little acting part of it from Kmart and Brylan and everybody. So I thought it was hilarious, but no, I really did love it. It was a great opportunity, and being able to take the lead on editing that was pretty great because I never really got to fully experience a Vice jersey release because for the first one, I wasn't there yet because I happened the summer before I got there. And then for the white ones, I had something else that I couldn't make it, which is, it was a big opportunity too. So I couldn't really miss it, but.
Okay. Is that true, by the way, Kevin, Edward? Do they actually play dominoes in the locker room when they're just chilling?
Yep, they do.
They actually do. Oh, that's sick. All right.
Dominoes were there.
You learn something new every day. Alrighty, this has been a fun episode so far. But Kevin, I think it's just about time to look around FIU athletics for a second. What say you? All righty. Let's take a look around FIU athletics. Who to watch out for from the 305, and it's tournament time for a couple of squads here. But let's start off with FIU baseball. The reason that this episode is dropping on Wednesday is that we have some rare Thursday night baseball going on for FIU as they take on Kennesaw State in Georgia for a 3-game series starting on Thursday the 17th and going all the way to Saturday the 19th. First game is at 6 o'clock with the Saturday finale being at 1. All those games can be watched on ESPN+. They'll then head to Fort Myers for a midweek matchup on Tuesday, and the day after they host the Miami Hurricanes at the FIU Baseball Stadium Wednesday, April the 23rd at 6 o'clock. Same thing goes for softball. They got some Thursday baseball too. That's going to be over in El Paso against the UTEP Miners on Thursday the 17th at 8 o'clock. That starts a 3-game series that'll end on Saturday at 1 o'clock. They'll then head back to Felsberg Field to take on Western Kentucky for a 3-game series starting on Friday, April the 25th. Next up is FIU women's tennis. They're getting ready for the CUSA championships. They have some pretty good history in that. As this year, it's going to be over in Lynchburg, Virginia, starting on Wednesday, April the 16th, literally today, and then continuing over to Saturday, April the 19th. It's an all-day event every single day, like I said, in Lynchburg. So best of luck to the Panthers as they look to grab another conference title. And same thing goes for beach volleyball. They're also going to be starting up the CUSA tournament as well. Once they're done with the Husky Invitational, it's going to be a little longer until that starts for beach volleyball, being on Thursday, April the 24th to Saturday, April the 26th over in Youngsville, Louisiana. And assuming FIU does great in that, the NCAAs are going to be in early May. So once again, to both tennis and beach volleyball who are gearing up for their chance to win some conference titles, best of luck to both of those squads. So that was a quick look around FIU athletics. Edward, let's get right back into talking about some awesome stuff. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big creative team. It's you, Hunter, Christian, main ones, with Jacob as the graphic designer, and then a ton of interns. What's the camaraderie like between you guys? How do you guys plan, the week out? I know you guys have the intern meetings, but, between you, Hunter, and Christian, just how do you guys plan out the week and, I guess deploy your interns into the right spots, the right games, the right spots, and the right assignments?
The camaraderie is great, man. I feel like we built a great team and, developed great, friendships between everybody. Sorry about that, but
yeah, you're good, man.
We've built a lot of, trust between everybody, and a lot of people have come in with no experience or little experience, have grown so much, and it's great to see. And the way we split things up is, there's games throughout the week. People sign up for the games, and if people need to be moved, people need to be moved. But overall, everybody has their sports that they like, and so you'll see the same people do the same sports, which is pretty cool because they get to build relationships with the team and stuff. And it's great, man. I honestly love the team, and I feel like everybody's coming into their own, so exciting to see, because everybody's also very young too. A lot of our students are, freshmen or sophomores. We don't really have anybody too old, so it's we have everybody for a while. So unless they hit the portal, but yeah, great team, and it'll be great for a while.
For sure. Talk about the spring game. What was that like? And what are your thoughts on the team? I mean, this is a new team under Willie Simmons, a lot of new players on offense, but you still have Kiwan. You have a lot of guys, young receivers who, didn't play on offense last season, but are now going to play. It seems like it's going to be a good team in a pretty open, a wide open CUSA.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The spring game, it wasn't, obviously the most fun game for the fans and stuff. Pretty low scoring game, but I feel like the teams were just so evenly matched that it's kind of hard to have a very I honestly wouldn't even have wanted to see a high scoring game, because it's kind of I wanted to see the best against the best. So I feel like we got that, and it's overall great. The running back room is looking amazing. AJ Allen, obviously Devontae Lyons, we got to see a lot of at the end of the season last year. And then, KJ Owens is always great. So honestly, I'm super excited. The linebackers, Percy, Shaney, it's looking great. The receiver room too, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm excited to see Alex Perry and Eric Nelson, Kyle, all guys that like, especially Eric and Kyle, we've been hearing a lot about Key1 mentioning their names and, so excited to see that. But I think the team is honestly great. The culture is amazing. Being out at practice is always a fun time. And even from the videos we put out, like the Rattle the Cave is one of the best parts of spring. We got to see the team go head to head, something we never really got to see before. Being able to see the team compete openly and it not be like an issue, man. Like you want to see your team compete. You want to see people do their best and go at it. And at the end of the day, like that's the product you want to see on the field when it's game time. Like you want to see people compete. You want to see the best out of people. And that's what I feel like we've gotten and we're going to continue to get.
So you and the fellas at Creative are always brainstorming new ideas for content. I understand if you can't reveal too much right now, but what can you share with us about some projects that you and Creative might be cooking up right now?
I'm trying to think. You caught me at a bad time because spring just ended, so we're kind of just finishing out the year strong with how we currently do things on a day-to-day. But definitely excited for this summer to come. About to get a whole new basketball team in pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be great, being able to show off those guys who end up coming on the team and continuing to show Coach Ballard and the staff over there. But I feel like we're gonna see some more cold tubs, maybe some more lives in the 305.
There we go.
But yeah, summer I would say is pretty slow for some new stuff. But that means we're just cooking up for the season coming up.
So looking ahead a bit, and this is really looking ahead, but just talk about what else you really want to pursue here or even elsewhere as you start to build more experience and expertise in the field.
I mean, here just trying to build and build with as the school goes up, we go up as well. So just continuing to do what we can with what we have and doing the most like we have been able to do, and eventually maybe lead the way here if things shift certain ways and those opportunities become available. But definitely just want to continue to keep growing the brand and make FIU a household name. Like just keep going with the Vice stuff and keep building on that. But ultimately for myself, I would love to be leading a football team myself, like a football content team myself, whether that's here or whether that's somewhere else, but that's obviously years down the line. But yeah, definitely just want to keep seeing the program grow.
So you began traveling with football last year a little bit. I think we were on that first trip together, and just looking at next year, a lot of good spots, to go out there. Penn State, Middle Tennessee. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Definitely Penn State. I feel like I haven't been in a real like big football environment yet, and that's one of the biggest. That's why like they put the Mamba song in the Madden game. So like definitely want to experience that. But I'm probably looking forward most to that one, to be honest. Middle Tennessee is cool just because of the location, but like we're not even there that long, so just being able to experience that game day and like the how loud it gets and how big the stadiums are. Like I haven't got to see that yet. Like I got to see it a little bit when we went to Auburn for the women's first round game in the tournament, but I didn't get to see the arena. Just got to see like a little corner of it through which it looked huge. But
yeah, people don't know. I mean, when you go to these football trips, you leave, noon and you're not there for too long. And right after the game, you're back home to Miami. So you don't get to see much. So you just have to kind of take in the stadiums itself, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, that's this season, but you just said you're from Tampa. You got family in Tampa. I think in a couple of seasons, we're heading to Tampa to take on USF at the Ray J. Any feelings about that? Any emotions going through your mind about that? What that would be like?
I didn't even look that far ahead, but Nah, that would definitely be cool. That would definitely be cool. They're not gonna have their new stadium by then?
I
No.
think it's going to be the year before. The year after, they're going to have their new on-campus stadium. Unfortunately,
The year they're coming here is when their stadium's ready.
Ah, yeah. Nah, that's gonna be super dope though. Hopefully we're in the American by then.
That would be pretty dope.
We'll see about that. I don't know. Hopefully, but
I don't want to do this because we're part of the CUSA roundtable, but fingers crossed that one day that happens.
yeah, that would
All right, Edward.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That would definitely be crazy though.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the rivalry back with FAU, and you got USF.
Yeah, you start a new one with USF. By then, the Bright Line will be done too. Miami to Tampa, probably. So should be good for the fans, I would think.
Probably great for me.
Yeah.
All right, Edward. It's been a fun episode so far. Let's start to close up shop with some fun rapid fire questions, and this is gonna draw some interesting conversations with your squad. But who is the funniest member of that creative team?
Definitely Christian Almanza. Easy. That's an easy answer.
Do you think everyone else would say that?
Answer.
I feel like everybody else would say that too.
Yep. Who's getting the aux cord and who's not getting the aux cord? So you're throwing someone under the bus. And this could be your interns too. This could be the interns.
Who's getting the aux cord? All right, I'll say Hunter. And who's not getting the aux cord? Raina's not getting the aux cord.
Okay. What's on your playlist?
Raina's listening too much Kendrick. So
what's on yours?
Oh, on mine? Oh, right now just straight Drake. Drake only. Drake, Vince Staples, some Nems, but Bad Bunny sometimes too.
There you go.
But yeah.
Where is the go-to spot to grab some food on campus?
Oh, on campus? I'm going to have to say either Chick-fil-A or Halal Shack. That new Halal Shack is gas.
It is gas. Yep.
So sticking with food here for a second, I believe you are part Dominican. You have some Dominican blood, if I'm not mistaken, Edward. Where can you get good Dominican food here in Miami?
Oh, I've only had good Dominican food in Miami Gardens and like in Broward. Never anything like close to FIU.
Oh, you're telling me I gotta go to the Gardens to get good Dominican food?
Yeah, man. Or yeah, I'm gonna just say that because other places I've gone are not that good.
That's fair. Alrighty. What are your favorite FIU uniforms that get spread throughout all the sports?
I'm either gonna have to go with Biscayne Blues or the all white uniform for football. Like helmet, jersey, pants.
Too clean. It's too clean. It's too clean. Yeah. Who would you say is the most photogenic player you have ever worked with? No matter what photo you take of them, they will always look great.
You could just say a team. It's fine.
Nah, I'll answer it. I won't be like that. I'll say Dean, man. Dean Patterson. I think he gets that answer across the board, though. But that's like Mr. Vice, so you got to go with Dean. Even though
what were you gonna say?
Even though he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, but he's off to Georgia Tech ACC, so
good luck to him.
Yeah. All right, who should we get next on the creative team? We always ask this to an athlete. We ask this to coaches. Out of the creative team, who should we get? We've had Hunter and Christian, so I guess we're gonna have to. It's gonna be the Rain Astro or one of the.
Oh, I would say nah. You know what? I'm gonna throw him a bone. I'm gonna say Lucas. Let's get Lucas on.
Yeah.
Let's get Lucas on here.
I like
Alrighty,
it.
We're gonna get Lucas
on. All right, Edward. As we always do, we'll ask you this. If you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, to FIU, to anybody in particular, the floor is now yours.
Oh, big screen. All right. What I have to say is, man, stay tuned to FIU, man, all across the board. We're coming up. Football's coming up. Basketball's about to come up next season. We're all coming up across the board. But yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned to this podcast. I'm really appreciative of you guys, putting light on everybody across the board as well, not just the team. So, what y'all do is amazing.
We're happy to help.
Appreciate it. Alrighty, Jake, wrap us up.
Alrighty, Edward, once again, man, thank you so much for spending some time with us. This episode it took a while to get going. You're a busy man. What can we say? But we made it happen, man. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
For sure.
Alrighty. For Edward, Kevin, and myself, 93 around the corner. I think we know who our guest is already, Kev. No spoilers, but he's a newcomer. We'll say that. So we'll leave you that on a cliffhanger. But until then, have a great rest of the night. And Paws Up!